And this book is not for the faint of heart. I'm very candid and authentic and raw about who I used to be, what the industry was like. And then I tell my transformation story, and then I teach others how they can transform themselves and their organizations through this same philosophy. So my mission is very clear. I want to change the world. I want to show others that you truly don't have to be ruthless to win, and that you can create extraordinary success for yourself and for others by helping others, by focusing on the needs of other people. I think so many people are focused on themselves, what's in it for me, and they forget that really, at the end of the day, the most rewarding and the most impactful things that we do are when we serve others.
Most of us never learned how to train our brains, which is why most of us needlessly settle, struggle, and worse, suffer. My name is Chris Doris, and I want to make brain training mainstream. This is my series, Tough Talks, Conversations on Mental Toughness. I'm interviewing badasses from all walks of life on what mental toughness means to them and their unique approaches to strengthening their minds. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tough Talks, Conversations on Mental Toughness. I am your host, Chris Doris, and our guest today is named Jonathan Kaiser. Jonathan is the founder and thought leader behind the company Kaiser. By using the selfless service model, that is our conversation today. In just 6 years, Kaiser became the largest tenant rep commercial real estate firm in Arizona and one of the most rapidly growing in the country. In addition to being an entrepreneur, Jonathan is an author. We're going to be talking about his book that just came out. Columnist, nationally renowned speaker, and is currently working towards the launch of the Kaiser Institute to train companies and the next generation of selfless leaders. This dude is a disruptor. You're going to love this guy. He's wizardly brilliant. This is a guy who has invested so much time, effort, and money into developing himself as a human that it's going to be. I promise you, this is. I'm not going out on a limb when I say to you, you will be more enriched in about an hour from now than you are right now because of having been with Jonathan Kaiser. He's here. He's waiting. Let's not keep him waiting. Let's go find him. Where are you, buddy?
Found him. There he is, the man.
You're the man.
Now you the man.
No, you're the man.
You won't win this. Well, I'll tell you what, we the men, but right now, you the man.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's an honor.
That's why you're the man. And dude, I'm so excited to have you on. You are up to so much amazing. You are such an impressive human being.
Aw, thanks.
Now, you're crushing life, dude.
Thank you, Chris.
You're crushing life. I mentioned dude, your family is so beautiful.
Oh.
And your kids, so your wife, Susanna, and then you have 4 kids, Jonathan, Ulysses, Finnegan, and London. Dude, these are amazing names.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I love that.
They're amazing kids too.
I can tell.
They're just unbelievable.
I loved your dedication in your book, which we're going to talk about. I'm not joking when I tell you, when I read the dedication, I got a little choked up.
It's very real for me.
I said that's blatantly obvious. So let's talk about this book, this amazing creation of yours. It just came out. The book is entitled, You Don't Have to Be Ruthless to Win. There you go. Good job.
There it is.
There it is. And so for those of you listening and not watching, John's holding up his book and it's cool looking. But now, I have a question for you about the title, because on Amazon, there's a subtitle, which I love, but it's not on the actual book cover.
It is if you just turn it on the side. Do you have the book in front of you?
Oh, no, I don't
have
the book.
It's on the spine right here.
Okay, so the subtitle is killer, which is The Art of Badass Selfless Service.
You got it, man.
That's great, man.
My mom was not happy about that subtitle. I did it anyway.
Really?
No,
because of the badass word.
Yeah, she. I mean, I was a missionary kid, so for her, it's not a fun word to hear out of my mouth. Much less on my book.
Well, I'm sure after she read it, she was quite proud.
She actually helped me a lot. I mean, she did a lot of, and when I say editing, I don't even mean like I mean, wordsmithing, like
Wow.
writing
Oh, no
parts. I mean,
kidding.
she was super helpful with it. I love my mom.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, good for her. What's your mom's name?
Emily Kaiser.
Emily. Good job, Emily. Shout out to Emily.
That's right. She's the
Yeah.
best.
Way to go. Atta mama.
We actually named one of our conference rooms here at Kaiser after her. She had a
Oh.
successful heart transplant. Her 5-year anniversary of getting a new heart was this last Monday.
Oh, wow.
And
Well,
it's
happy
just,
anniversary. That's beautiful.
yeah, I mean, that's a big
Congratulations.
anniversary. We thought we were going to lose her,
Wow.
and she's healthier than ever. And so we're very grateful.
Wow. Well, we'll have to have her on as a tough talks guest sometime. Talk
Come
about
on.
the mental toughness of
Good.
heart transplant. My goodness. Wow. Is there any mental toughness in that?
Yeah, tons.
Yeah, right.
Tons.
So
the
let's
amount of determination and willingness to endure for staying with your family on the other side is pretty incredible. Mom stuff.
right on. Way to go.
But yeah,
Emily.
the book has been, it's been surreal, Chris, because you write a book, and first of all, it's just an extraordinary labor of love. I've been writing this book. For 8 years, I had a draft that I just printed a few thousand copies of just in-house, just so I had a few of the rough draft as I was working on it, but I never loved it. And then really buckled down over the last year and got her done. And I finally love the book. I finally feel like it properly conveys the message and the mission and teaches people what I want it to teach.
Okay, and that's what I want to talk about. But before we get into the details of that, on your website, jonathankaiser.com, on the About page, there's a quote, your quote. It says, "I used to be ruthless."
Yes, sir.
Transforming, and you tell, that's the first part of your whole book, is that story. This, transforming to selflessness skyrocketed my success. Now I teach others to do the same. Well, I hope that you're going to teach us about that. That's what I want to talk with you about, because that's a big deal.
My pleasure. So first of all, let me back up a little bit so people have some context. So I mentioned that I was a Christian missionary kid. I grew up overseas. I grew up in Papua New Guinea, and I came back when I was in 7th grade. Wow. And I had this experience coming back where overseas I didn't realize that we were poor, because we weren't over there. Everyone was poor. In fact, we were probably more well off than most there. But when I got back to the States, I realized really quickly how poor we were. And so I associated being poor with all the love and service that my parents taught. And I decided that that was not for me. I didn't want to live my life to help others as they had espoused. And so I got into commercial real estate because I'd heard that I could make a lot of money and I wanted to be rich. And as soon as I got into commercial real estate, it was obvious that this was a ruthless industry. Like, it didn't take me long to figure that out. And so I became ruthless because I thought that's what it took to be successful in a cutthroat industry. But I was miserable. I was misaligned with my core values, and I truly hated what I was turning into. And I felt like it was a slippery slope. Like the more that I did it, the more I became numb to it, and I didn't love the direction. But
wait, hold on. I'm going to slow that down for a second.
Sure.
And I'm probably going to interrupt you a lot of times, because when
you do your thing.
Well, it's because you're saying, like, I want to make sure that people get like all the value out of this, because this is profound. So what's the it that you're referring to is the ruthlessness. So how were you ruthless?
So I was ruthless in a couple different ways. Number one, internally, right? So within the firm itself, it was every man for himself, and mostly men, every person for themselves, scratching, clawing, fighting, stealing leads, whatever it took to win accounts, lying, misrepresenting relationship levels, looking on people's desks for their leads, anything that it would take inside the organization to try to claw my way to the top. On the external side, it involved talking clients into doing deals that made me a bigger commission. So in commercial real estate, often you get paid more if you have a longer lease term. Let's just talk about a lease for a second. And so convincing companies to sign longer term leases that may not be in their best interest, but made me more commission was pretty commonplace. And that's just one example of many, where putting companies into buildings where you made a higher commission, or where you're going to get a back end deal from the landlord that's undisclosed, all kinds of things like that. And so And again, in the industry, that just seemed normal. It's just what people did, which is not a justification on my part at all. It's just I truly felt at the time trapped. Like I felt like I had to behave this way to be successful, but I was miserable. And then 15 years ago, I went to an industry conference, and this guy gets up and he starts talking about a different way of doing business, of how he has created a model where he focuses on helping others, and over time has become successful. And I was just fascinated. I was actually blown away by the concept, and I couldn't believe it. Sounded like my parents. So I went up to him afterwards and I said, is this true, or is this just a shtick that you say to sound good in front of audiences? And he said, no, it's really true. And so long story short, I reinvented myself around that. And Chris, that was a long, hard road. I mean, it was not easy being different. It was not easy going from, I was National Rookie of the Year for Grubb and Ellis, and people thought I was on the fast track, and I was an up and comer, so to speak. And then all of a sudden, here I am. People thought I hit my head. I just was getting involved in the community, and I was helping everybody that I could. And I was asking everybody the same question: how can I help you? What do you need? How can I be of service to you? Over and over and over and over again. And over time, that started to develop this sense of, wow, that guy really is out to help people. And so then other people would refer other people to me. And it created this groundswell effect where after 4.5 years, I started getting nice referrals. During that time, I was the laughing stock. Everybody was,
oh, really?
Everybody lost faith in me. Yeah, because everybody thought I was nuts. So like, what are you doing? There's no results. And one of the things that I asked the speaker when I went up to him at that presentation, I said, if this is really true and this is really possible, how come no one else is doing it? And he said, Jonathan, because it takes too long. I said, well, what does that mean? He said, well, it'll take you about 4.5 to 5 years to reinvent yourself around this philosophy. And in the meantime, everybody's going to think you're crazy and you're not going to make any money. Well, that actually happened to me. And there were many times when I was laying on my bed, staring at the ceiling, moving money around credit cards to make ends meet, thinking like, this is crazy. What am I doing? But I could feel it. I could feel that something was happening, and either I'm too stubborn or too visionary or whatever, but I didn't give up, and I started getting amazing referrals, and that turned into me having more to help others with, and it just turned into this crazy spike, and I went from laughing stock to top producer. And then in 2012,
you stayed with the same company throughout all of this transition? Okay.
Did. Yeah. And then in 2012, I had an epiphany. I was frustrated with the fact that I felt like my business was being constrained. What the methodology and the mindset that I was trying to develop was being held down by the culture of a traditional firm, or at least that was my sentiment. But I didn't know what to do about it. And then in 2012, I go to Sedona. I'm early in the morning. I'm meditating down at the spa, and I just had this epiphany where I realized that what I had stumbled across, what I had discovered, was bigger than me, and it was bigger than my team, and it actually had the opportunity to transform an entire industry. And if I could teach other people how to do the same thing, I could help them experience the same level of success for themselves through selfless service. And so that was when I, looking back, that was when I found my purpose in life, so to speak, and decided to leave my old firm and start my own, and roll the dice and take the risk. And I said, we're going to build this on 15 core operating principles. When I was in that spa, I made a list of all the things that I hated about commercial real estate brokerage. And then I made a list of all the things that I wished were true. And out of that sort of, perfect utopian wish list, I built 15 core operating principles that we built this firm on. And today we're the largest firm of our kind in Arizona and one of the fastest growing in the country. And, the book just hit #1 on Wall Street Journal and Amazon.
Congratulations on all that.
Really, thank you. And it's really, to me, a testament to the truth in the message, and this book is not for the faint of heart. I'm very candid and authentic and raw about who I used to be, what the industry was like. And then I tell my transformation story, and then I teach others how they can transform themselves and their organizations through this same philosophy. So my mission is very clear. I want to change the world. I want to show others that you truly don't have to be ruthless to win, and that you can create extraordinary success for yourself and for others by helping others, by focusing on the needs of other people. I think so many people are focused on themselves, what's in it for me, and they forget that really, at the end of the day, the most rewarding and the most impactful things that we do are when we serve others. We all know how to do this. We do it in our homes, we do it in our families, with our kids, we do it in our churches and our social clubs. But then we get into business and we have this mindset that we got to go fight, right? And I just believe that the reason why that is, why there's this, this big disconnect, is because people don't truly know how to create success through service. They know how to help, but they don't know how to have the law of reciprocity come back to them. And so that's what I teach in this book. I've taken everything that I've learned, trial and error, put it in this book to teach any business leader how they can create extraordinary success for themselves through this culture of selfless service.
Can we talk about a few of those 15 principles?
Love to.
Yeah, I picked a few of them that I thought might be more relevant to, or more psychological in nature. I guess you could argue that they all are, but let's just start, of course, with the first one, because nothing happens after that, right?
Yep.
So yeah, let's talk about.
We serve our partners, clients, and each other fully, selflessly, and completely, and only involve ourselves in projects, activities, and conversations that can truly add value to another individual. We are known by one word: service, and we live the statement, "It's not about me."
So that is, so if someone says, please define the selfless service model. That's it.
That's it right there. I mean, now every business is different, right? So what selflessly serving looks like varies. It varies wildly based upon the individual. But the general concept is, no matter who you interface with, no matter who you are working for, with, no matter who's reporting to you, if your mindset on everybody that you touch is, how much value can I push across the table for this individual over the long game? This isn't the get rich quick scheme. Anybody that's listening thinking that's what I'm talking about, you're missing the message. This is the long game. This is long-term sustainable success. And I believe that selfless service is the greatest business principle of all time. And so that shows up in every kind of area. It's like, it's not, people ask me all the time, well, tell me what you do. And I say, well, sure. Well, what I do is I sit down with people and I try to figure out what they really need. And it varies on the individual. Some people need to get more connected in the community. I help them do that. Some people need a shoulder to cry on. I provide that. Some people need, just hooking somebody up with a potential love interest. That's sometimes people's number one thing. Sometimes people need a good doctor. Sometimes people need a therapist. Sometimes people need a coach. It's like people say, hey, I need a badass coach. And I go, call my boy Chris. Right. So it's just, when you're out in the community asking people how you can help them, and you're actually doing things for them that really matter, versus, hey, do you need a lease commercial real estate space? Because I could help you with that. It's like, people get to know that you're for real, that you really are there to help. And then when there is an opportunity where they do have intercompany, or their company needs new space, and they say, man, that guy helped me on stuff that had nothing to do with real estate, I bet you he'd go above and beyond for me on the real estate. And then I blow them away on the service there. And then they go tell all their friends. And rather than selling and burning bridges and doing the bare minimum, like commercial real estate has this funnel mindset, right? It's like, put a bunch in the funnel, 10% comes out the bottom.
Right.
It's all about efficiency. It's all about spending as little time per client as possible. And I think that's ass backwards. I think the whole idea is love and serve, go deep with people, figure out what they really need, help them with whatever they have, even if it has nothing to do with something that could come back to you. Yeah. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a real-time example of how I've done this.
Yes.
So we had an opportunity a couple years ago for a nice big piece of business. And we thought we were going to win the piece of business, and we ended up not winning it. Usually when that happens, people break off contact. They're upset. They make up stories about how the person this and that. For me, it was like that just wasn't our time to serve that client. So I just kept helping her. Not long afterwards, I heard of an opportunity that I thought actually would be better for her. And I called her up and I said, hey, I may have an opportunity for you. And when she went and looked at it, she said, wow, this is an amazing fit. Ended up moving companies, went to the new company, was so grateful that she brought me in. And now we do the real estate for that company. Now, did I do that because I wanted to get her business? No. She'd already proven that she had selected somebody else. But I think a lot of times people aren't willing to trust you until you show them that you're willing to put them first. And so that's the fundamental philosophy behind selfless service is no matter where you go, the quickest way to trust, speed to trust, like Stephen Covey talks about, is all around getting people to understand that you're really in it for them. Because at the end of the day, that's what they make their buying decision based upon. If they really feel like you're going to be there for them and you care about them and you put them first, over time, it's really, really hard to compete against somebody who does that wherever he goes or she goes.
Yeah. Hey, do you ever experience any skepticism from people at first?
Tons.
What?
Tons.
Yeah, because like, this guy's fake. This is bullshit. He's just trying.
This is a shtick. This is a shtick. Yeah.
Right. So what do you do about that?
Well, I appreciate. I personally am a skeptic myself by my very nature.
Okay.
So for me, I don't judge because my first reaction to this message was
the same
skepticism as well.
Yeah.
But I think the proof is in the pudding, and we've done enough now where people know that we're for real. When we started, most people thought I was completely crazy, and now a lot less people do. And when I say we're going to create $1 billion company that changes the industry and reimagines and reinvents commercial real estate brokerage through this idea of selfless service, people don't think I'm so nuts. And I was on the East Coast last week doing TV morning shows in DC and Baltimore, and it's just amazing to watch the interest in the message. I think it's a message whose time has come. And I just happen to be one of the standard bearers of it. And
that's nice.
For me, it's deeply personal. It's like, this has changed my entire life. Not only am I way more successful than I ever would have been, but I also have extraordinary relationships, which are much, much deeper than any selfish individual I've ever met has. Like I have,
that's beautiful. That's a big deal.
It's huge.
Jonathan, that has to be on at least one level so much more valuable than anything else.
Yep.
Right. I love that.
But it's like, for me, my message is the business owner, right? It's the executive. It's the CEO, the CFO, the chief operations officer, the VP, people who other people report to, and they're trying to figure out how they can have an impact in their company, make it more profitable, et cetera. And so for me, my message is very clear. It's not do the right thing and help other people because it's the right thing to do. We all know how to do that. We all know that. And we're either doing that today or we're not. So I'm not a preacher on a pulpit. That's the opposite of what I want to be. I want to be the guy who said, look, these principles work. They work to create service. Give and you shall receive. Most people forget the receive part and they just remember the give. And it's like, I give too much and I run out. It's like, my experience is you can't outgive the universe. And the more you help other people, the more it comes back. I have people.
I love that. You can't outgive the universe. I'm keeping that one.
You can't. I mean, no matter, and try. I challenge you to try. Now, it's not the short game, right? So some people give up too soon, right? They say, I tried this for 3 months and nothing happened. It's like, that's not the long game. The long game is, are you in it to create long-term sustainable success? If you are, in my humble opinion, the very best way to do so is to love and serve as many people as possible. Now, do it strategically, right? Just don't walk down the street and say, hey, what do you need? Hey, what do you need? Although that's actually a pretty good idea. I should probably do that sometime.
I think we know somebody who does do that.
Yeah, but I'm not describing that. I'm describing in the normal interactions you're already going to have, just approach it with, how can I listen? How can I probe? How can I figure out what this person really needs? And then how can I help
Yeah.
deliver on that?
Okay. And that can't be faked,
No,
right?
no.
Because if you
You can
fake
do it
that,
short term, but
it'd be better to be,
people,
I think it would be better and more productive for you to be straightforward about your slime than
agreed.
than to fake the sincerity of being of service.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, can I comment on that? Because that's a
Please.
really good nuanced point, which is
Mm-hmm.
I think people have a really good BS detector.
Yeah.
And so they know if you're just
Yeah.
trying to manipulate. I mean, that was part of why it took me so long.
Mm.
If I was going to do it over, I could probably do it in, I don't know, a quarter of the time.
What would be different if you were going to do it over now? What would be different about when you did?
I would go all in on my service,
Uh-huh.
and I would not keep track. That was part of the problem, is I was still
Ooh.
keeping track in my mind. And the
Like I served this person, I didn't get shit from them.
yeah, like what the heck? They're
So
a
that
taker,
didn't
right?
work.
Kind of
Yeah.
mindset
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
versus doing it out of purity of service. And once I
Mm-hmm.
switched that gear, once Steve Hardison helped me realize how full of crap I was, and that I was, without even realizing it,
Right.
manipulating the world,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
then when I turned that switch, and everybody started to feel the sincerity of it, and that's when it really started to come in abundance.
So is there excuse me, a priority between profit and service?
Yes, I think they are tied
They're
together.
tied. They're
Yeah,
tied. So
the more
that's an inextricable relationship there.
inextricable. Now,
That's interesting.
that does not mean that there are not other ways to do it. So obviously, there are plenty of people who have proven over plenty of time that ruthless works.
Mm-hmm.
We have some
Yeah.
people at high levels of government today that have proven that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's the only way, but I'm saying it's a better way. And better because of all the reasons described before, but also because there is an element of joy that pervades my life,
Bam.
because when I'm in service to someone else, I'm
Yep.
happiest.
Right.
So how crazy is it that I could spend my time
Right.
trying to help others get what they need, experiencing extreme satisfaction from that,
Right.
experiencing amazing relationships from that, and having other people out saying I'm a nice guy versus back when I was a dick, people saying I was a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And as a fun side benefit, I'm more successful than I ever would have been, right?
What do you
We have
know?
an 8-figure commercial real estate firm. We just hit Inc. 5,000 and on and on and on and on. And it's not about me. And all I'm trying to do is serve and teach others how to serve.
Yeah.
And so it's surreal for people. I mean, one of the biggest differentiators between my firm and anybody else in commercial real estate brokerage is that inside our firm,
Mm-hmm.
we all help each other. That's unheard of.
Mm.
It is the opposite of what normally happens. But here, we all try to help each other succeed. And by each of us helping each other, we all become more successful.
You know what that is? Heaven. That's perfection right there, baby.
It is.
Right?
I
How
live
does it get better than that?
bliss.
Atta baby. I love that.
And stuff
Right.
happens. It's not like, it's not like hard times don't come. They do. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe, Chris, you talk about mental toughness.
Mm.
I believe that everything is a gift. And I've had some tough tests of that, and I'm not asking for more, but man, it's like when I look back, all the hard times in my life, I look back now and I realize that they were a gift to me. They helped me in some way.
The problem is the gift.
Yeah, exactly right. And I know, for you, your commitment is to really help elite athletes, CEOs, entertainers, coaches, parents, professors. I mean, you're dealing with all kinds of successful people across society. And I think that mindset of everything is a gift, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wallow in what happens. I'm gonna take it as it comes. I'm gonna do my very best with it, and the rest is like not much you can do about it. So might as well not worry about it.
I had another interview with a guest earlier today who's a former client of mine. Her name is Hope Llewellyn, and she was working at Chicago O'Hare Airport as an aircraft mechanic when a 767 ran over her legs.
Oh my goodness.
and she lost one of them.
Wow.
And she was in the hospital for 6.5 months. And then what happens next, not immediately, but what happened next is she has represented the United States in 4 Paralympics in 4 different freaking sports, dude. Talk about taking a problem and turning it into a gift, right?
That's
like taking
amazing.
an adversity. And she uses like the word, my accident, like euphemism, my accident.
That's powerful, bro.
It's, I mean, right. That's the deal. So I love this mantra that you're reminding me of right now. There's a pretty new mantra for me, and I love it. And it is this: every set of circumstances can be leveraged for individual and collective gain if viewed masterfully.
Say that again. Say that again.
Every set of circumstances can be leveraged for individual and or collective gain if viewed masterfully.
Wow.
Right?
I love that. That's powerful.
Yeah, me too. Let's talk about a couple other principles. Can we do that?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Just like just free will on this. Take bold action, embracing mistakes.
Yep.
It doesn't say take action. It says bold.
Yep.
How can you put the qualifier bold in there?
I think most people live too small, Chris. I think they settle.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to settle.
Right on.
The only reason why I believe I can change the world is, if not me, then who? Right? So I have air. I have a properly functioning brain for the most part. I have my health. The only difference between people typically is what's between their ears and what they believe about themselves. And so, you know, it's been a process for me. It's been a process to get here, but I believe in taking bold action because I think that's rare air. Most people aren't willing to play there. There's less competition there.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm not afraid of making a mistake, right?
Okay, go on that. Yeah.
Because
so embracing versus avoiding. So one paradigm, like avoiding, don't mess up, don't screw up.
Yeah, it makes you play small. It's like, don't ever miss a free throw. It's like, well, then you're never going to take a free throw because you're going to miss some free throws. And so it's this idea of believing in something bigger than yourself, pressing hard towards it, not being afraid of making a mistake, because in most organizations they punish mistakes. But
yes,
for
right.
most
So people are playing like the prevent defense.
Totally.
Life, right? Because
totally.
we're afraid to get fired.
Don't lose at the end of the game, and then half the companies, half the teams lose. So because to fear mistakes makes a employee, a business leader, timid and keeps them out of bold, fearless, massive action, which is precisely where value is created. And
how do you handle mistakes at Kaiser?
Say, we celebrate them.
Oh, wow.
We learn from them. Right. So mistake is an accident. Mistake is not an intentional act of malice. Right. It's an accidental misdeed when attempting to do something that you don't necessarily know how to do perfectly. So great. Right. So like you learn from it, you move on, you clean it up, and you go to the next one. There's a company in town, Microchip Technologies, where the CEO came in and turned it all around, and now it's one of the most profitable semiconductor companies in the world.
Sangi?
Yeah.
That's right down the street.
And his whole model was, before, they used to punish mistakes. I mean, he has a lot of stuff that he's done, but this is a big one. They used to punish mistakes, and so people would hide. And when you're in a production mode and you're doing millions and millions of chips, if somebody's hiding mistakes and you've printed 3 million faulty chips, that's a big deal. That's expensive. That's problematic. Yeah. So they changed the culture to celebrate and reward. And when somebody found something that was a mistake that they made, the sooner they said it, the bigger praise they got, kind of thing. And so,
wow, that's beautiful.
It changed the whole organization. So that's our mindset. It's not like we encourage them like we want them to happen, but to assume the mistakes are not going to happen is naive at best.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, it's like, no, learn from it, clean it up quickly, and move on.
Yeah, right.
And good job being bold.
Yeah. Did Steve Chandler by any chance have anything to do with that transformation over there?
Yeah, he did.
I think so.
I love that, man.
Who doesn't? So the godfather of coaching, Steve Chandler, had a baby. So Shout out Steve Chandler.
Love you, bro.
Yeah, man. So you're reminding me there of how did it go when someone asked Thomas Edison how he felt about like the 1,000, because it took 1,000 attempts, right, to get the light bulb right. And they're like, how did you deal with all those failures? And he was confused. Like, I don't understand. What do you mean failures? Those were the steps. Like, those were the steps necessary to get it right.
Totally.
It was all forward progress.
Totally.
Why would you bastardize that beautiful experience? That's this whole massive success story by calling those forward progressional steps, those learning steps that had to occur in order to get it right. How could you desecrate that with the word failure? All right. Talk about integrity. Your eighth principle, be your word. Why are you putting, why is that got to be in there?
I believe, everybody has a lot of people have an issue with the word integrity. One, it's on too many corporate walls and nobody even looks at it. For me, I like the idea of doing what I say I'm going to do. One of the things that I think is the thing that creates the most power in any individual or organization is doing what they say they're going to do. And for me, this was one of the hardest ones because I liked to keep things loose, especially when it comes to like events. I was a big deal in town and I wanted to make sure I accepted the best opportunity and I had the ability to bob and weave and change. But the problem was when people can't rely on your word, everything else breaks down. And if you take it even a step further, the person that needs to believe your word is yourself. Because if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you don't trust in yourself, you don't believe in yourself, and you're not willing to take bold action to make something meaningful of your life. And so for me, the ultimate power rests in doing what you say you're going to do, being where you say you're going to be, following through on the commitments you make. And so for me, that's what being our word is. And it's critical. It's critical internally within the organization. It's critical with our clients. People know that when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Now, am I perfect? No. But as soon as I realize I'm not going to be able to be my word, I quickly clean it up,
That's huge. That's a huge, huge lesson. And what comes with that is it's not just about doing what you said yes to. It's becoming really mindful of what you say yes to, and also becoming comfortable at saying no.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I'm going to out myself. No. I'm going to out myself on this right now. When I created my last online course, All In. Now, the whole thing was inspired by Steve Hardison. Okay, the entire thing, right? My work with Steve, it was an audio program that I created 7 years ago, and I just, turned it into a course.
Awesome.
And given the fact that it was totally inspired by Steve Hardison and his, the power of internal commitment or full commitment, I asked him if he would be willing to give me a testimonial for it. Can you guess what he said?
He said no.
That's it. That's all he said. And he said, I love you. I think he said, Chris, no, I'm not willing to do that. I love you.
Yeah, I won't be doing that, and I love you.
Yeah. And I knew he was going to say no. I asked him for testimony. This is where I'm outing myself because I knew he was going to say no in the first place.
But here's
I was actually using him because I wanted to witness the love in a no. I wanted to learn from it. I called him up. Maybe it's deception. Sorry, Steve, if it was, but I don't think any apologies necessary there. I was wanting to hear again how he so perfectly and beautifully and lovingly and firmly and unapologetically said no.
Yep.
So keeping your word is a lot about saying no.
A lot about saying no. I used to have a big problem with this one too, about the no part. And he recommended, or I think actually it was Steve Chandler recommended a book called Start With No. And that was very helpful for me because it's that same concept as good to great. You have to say no to the good to get to the great. And you have to say no to the things that seem like you should. I don't live in a world of should.
Yeah.
I do what I say I'm going to do. I commit only to the things that I'm willing to commit to. And it keeps my life, like Steve Hardison likes to say, keeps it very clean. So I like living a clean life. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Number 10, increase your success through self-improvement.
Yeah.
Self-improvement. Let's give me some examples of self.
I think that the greatest thing that a person can do with their life is work on themselves, because the more they work on themselves, the more that comes through them is powerful. And so for me, I have a ridiculously, extraordinarily, and unusual commitment to self-improvement, because I believe that it's only through the pain and fire and, the frustration of realizing yet again where you failed, that you can really become the best person you can become. And so that for me that's my drug of choice. Is I really, that's a reason why I have a lifetime contract with Steve Hardison. It's because every week I go there. And
by the way, for people that don't know, that's you have a lifetime contract with a guy whose nickname is the Ultimate Coach. So you have a coach, just so we're clear. This is a specific way, because I really love for the audience to be able to walk away with super specific things that they can say, all right, I want to put that in my life. So you have a lifetime contract
with an executive coach who's unparalleled. And in my book, You Don't Have to Be Ruthless to Win, after every of the principal chapters, I put other books, because reading is a huge one.
Yes.
So self-improvement, reading is standing on the shoulders of giants. But really the ultimate work on oneself is identifying those blind spots that you don't realize you have, that are getting in your way, and getting them out of your way.
How do you do that?
That's what having a coach is like.
Okay. So how do you do that? Have a coach, right?
You don't have to have a coach to do that. You could
makes it a lot easier,
but sure helps.
It's be 100% present.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Most people in today's world are the opposite of that. Right.
Okay.
Cell phones buzzing, thinking about tomorrow, pissed about this morning. Nobody's present. Right. And when you're present, you can't serve. I mean, when you're not present, you can't serve. And so for me, I try to be very present in the moment. And I'm trying to just be with who I'm with. Right now, I'm with Chris Doris, the mental coach, right? I'm with you, nowhere else. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just in pure service to you in this podcast right now.
That's so
great. I think if more people realized the power in that, like a lot of people say, Jonathan, that was one of the most extraordinary meetings I've had in my life. And I didn't do anything. I was just there with them, completely focused on them, asking them questions, listening, right? And figuring out ways to help them. And they're like, man, I feel heard like I've never feel heard. Well, if the goal, if you're in business of any kind and you want to get hired to do something, the likelihood of them wanting to hire you, if you show that you care, is a lot higher. And the easiest way to show that you care is to stop checking your cell phone, right? And stop looking out the window and thinking about other things. People can tell if you're present or not. Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah, we spent a lot of time. I'll own this. I spend time. I'm constantly catching. Well, hell, in interviews. I mean, I don't know how many times it's already happened in this interview where I'm losing my presence because I'm thinking of what do I want to ask you next, or I want to try to make sure that I keep the conversation flowing as the interviewer, and I'm not absolutely infinitely present with you. So I appreciate that reminder, because that's me forgetting. That's me forgetting that I don't have to work so damn hard.
Yeah.
That if I'll put all the effort into being present, all that shit takes care of itself, doesn't it?
100%. One of my IMs is what I need is given to me precisely when I need it. So I'm utterly peaceful and trusting in the present moment. So literally, I believe.
Oh, yeah. You said, can we back up for a second? You said one of my IMs. Now I get what that means.
Yep.
Can you explain what that even means?
Sure. So one of the things that helps me create the culture, life, experience that I have going through this world is an intentional creation of who I am deciding to be. And these have evolved over time. So I call them I am statements. I have them for myself. I have them for our family. My kids each have them. And what it is it's a declaration into the universe of who you are deciding you're going to be. My very first one that kind of sets them all up is I am JK, and who I am is far more real than anything outside of me. So what that means is what I declare after that first setup I am is who I am choosing to be, regardless of what happens in the outside world. It's a decision. It's a place I come from. And a lot of it is future looking. It doesn't mean that I'm there yet. It's a decision that this is who I want to be, and this is who I'm going to declare myself to be. Right. And so
beautiful.
Like I am gratitude. Right. Does that mean I'm always perfectly in gratitude? No, but it's a declaration to myself that I'm choosing gratitude. I'm choosing gratitude over resentment. I'm choosing gratitude over anxiety. I'm choosing, and that's just one. And so one of mine is what I need is given to me precisely when I need it. So I'm utterly peaceful and trusting in the present moment. I do not think about what I'm going to do next because that would disrupt the present. I'm in the moment now. And as soon as we're done here, I'll go be in the moment on something else. And by me being fully present allows me to bring my very best self to it. And when I bring my very, very best self to it, that I've just been working on constantly getting better and constantly getting better, I can do some pretty cool stuff. But it takes that process. It's that constant refinement. And I want to say one thing, because I think it's important for all of your listeners to hear this. I am in no way, shape, or form stating that I'm some perfect, figured it out human being. I am the opposite of that. I am a constant work in progress, and I have my good days and I have my bad days. But one thing that never wavers is my fundamental belief that the more I help other people, the more good occurs to me. And that's my message to the world. If everybody could see that I'm not a charlatan, that I'm really believing this and teaching it and proving it. And if they could walk the Kaiser offices and say, oh my gosh, that guy was legit. These people are amazing. I can feel the culture in here. And it's like, what if everyone could have it all? What if you spent your life committed to making everybody else's lives around you better? You didn't punish them. You didn't punish yourself, right? Like I don't need to beat myself up when I screw up. It's like, okay, well, I forgive myself for being a jackass there. And the truth is that I'm the best there ever was and forever will be, and I'm not going to do that again. And it just becomes simple, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, there's none of this heaviness that most people are filled with. It's just, I'm going to do my very best in the moment. And I screw up as much as anyone. I make mistakes. I do dumb things.
And you embrace them.
And I embrace them. It's like, yeah, it's life. I'm doing my best. All right. So I'll get better next time. Great. Next. I'm not gonna tell myself all these negative stories. I'm just gonna get up, do my best, go to sleep, get up, and do it all over again.
I want to talk about one more of the 15 principles, and then I want to hear you tell us about the Kaiser Institute.
Sure.
Have fun. I love that one. But I want to hear why is that? How'd that make the list? Why is that so important? It's like, because everyone knows the phrase, that old phrase that it like makes my skin crawl. There's a time for work and a time for play. I actually make fun of that.
That's nonsense.
I go out of my way to make. Please take over.
Yeah, that's a bunch of BS. So
Nice.
I believe in having an intentionally imbalanced life.
I'm all ears.
I believe in prioritized living, finding the things that really matter and throwing yourself endlessly into them. For me, it's very simple. I have 3 things, no more. And anything else is just noise to me.
Okay.
Number 1, my family. Number 2, this vision of building Kaiser and changing the world. Number 3, my health. Outside of that, I don't have a lot of time. So it's like, for me, I have a busy life. I have 4 kids, more on the way, most likely, hopefully soon.
Okay.
Crazy fast growing company, all kinds of things. For me, it's like, it's a dance. It's like, we have fun with what we do and with the members of the team. And my mission is to have an integrated life where at the end of the day, you can't really tell at any point if I'm playing or if I'm working, because it's all,
I love it.
all the same. It's all part of this extraordinary experience I call life.
Yeah.
And trying to segment them and separate them, it's like I'm the same dude at Kaiser that I am in my home. I'm the same person, and I try to be the same guy. Now, there's a lot of things that I could do better, I guess is the point, but it's that integrated life where you focus on just like, at the end of the day, this is our only life, man. And And are we going to enjoy it, or are
Yeah.
we going to be stressed the whole time? Are we going to make the best of it, or are we going to be a victim? Are we
Well,
going to be mentally tough like you teach people, or are we going to go whine, complain, tuck our tails between our legs, and give up? It's like,
well, you know, in addition to that, it also just so happens to be true for humans that the humans are at their best when they feel their best. We are at our best when we feel our best. And you look at any human peak performance research, and it's fun to be in the zone.
very
But when we're kicking ass, when we're on fire, when we're in the zone, we're having fun. We're experiencing in the book Flow by Csikszentmihalyi.
Love that book, by the way.
Well, I agree. It's where no one has ever described a peak performance as other than experiencing intrinsic reward. Fun. Me and Chandler did a really great interview one time on the intelligence of fun. I love what's that? Yes, I'll send that to you. I will. I'll send it to you. It was it was fun, and you know, Jason Goldberg is a huge fan of
Love that dude.
How can you not love that dude? So, all right, tell us about the Kaiser Institute.
Sure. So one of the things that we kept noticing is people would walk through our space and here at Kaiser, and they would say, wow, I love this. How do I get some of this within my organization? And so my vision from the beginning is I want to teach others how to do the same thing. That's the whole point of the book. But, you know, while I pack everything that you'd ever need to know from my experience in building a culture of selfless service within the book, there's still organizations that want more help, right? That want people to help guide them through the process. So we created the Kaiser Institute to train, empower, and ultimately certify the next generation of selfless leader and teach executives how they can create success, again, tying success to a culture of service. And I think, honestly, like there's still plenty of companies that are old school that have this ruthless mindset. There's still plenty of industries that are like that. In fact, most of the world is still like that. But we're living in a new era. And over the next 10 to 20 years, that's going to become less and less acceptable. And we're already seeing the birth of that today. And so what I believe is if you're a leader out there and you're not focused on creating a culture of selfless service, you're already a dinosaur, because people are coming. They're going to take your business. They're going to undercut your company, because culture is everything. And like Peter Drucker says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And so if you're not developing a selfless culture, you're being left behind. And so for me, while I'm somewhat of a pioneer in the commercial real estate brokerage industry, I'm inviting people through the Kaiser Institute, through You Don't Have to Be Ruthless to Win, through all the things that we're doing to come join us in this movement, right? I have a dream. I have a dream of a world where people selflessly help each other regardless of personal gain, understanding that it's in their own personal best interest to do so.
That's how you start the book.
Yep, exactly right. And it's true for me, 100%.
I
can see it, man. I can see a world where the best and the brightest spend their time trying to out-help each other. I mean, imagine if that was Wall Street's philosophy. Imagine how much we could accomplish if everybody put down their swords, put down their shields, and just tried to figure out how to help each other. We'd all have better lives. And so that's really the vision of this.
That's beautiful.
I want to show people that, look, if I can do it in arguably the most ruthless industry in the world, commercial real estate brokerage, if I can create a company where all we do is help, love, and serve, and we can succeed and we can win and we can have success, then you can too. Hence the book. Go buy the book, ruthlessbook.com. And if we can
ruthlessbook.com.
Ruthlessbook.com. And if the Kaiser Institute could ever help you and you want to learn more, let us know. We got a bunch of free resources.
Where do they go? Where do you want them to go?
Ruthlessbook.com.
That's it. That's it.
That's simple.
Simple as that.
Through ruthlessbook.com, you could get to our company webpage, which is kaiser.com. If you're a commercial real estate broker out there and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of the industry, we are looking to expand. We're going on a national expansion push here in the next few years. And so if you're a leader looking to be part of the next generation of commercial real estate firm, call us and we'll have a conversation as well. But at the end of the day, this is about a higher good of changing the business world through selfless service and proving ultimately that you don't have to be a ruthless prick to win.
JK, I am a better man now than I was an hour ago, and I want to thank you for that.
That's kind.
You
Thank
just
you.
empowered the hell out of me, and I am so excited. I cannot wait to air this and hear the beautiful feedback. Brother, I love the way you're showing up in the world. My
Thank
world
you.
is a better place because of you in it, and thank you, dude.
Likewise. Thanks for all you do for
Appreciate that,
people around the world.
Yeah, right on. All right, and thanks, of course, for making time and sharing this. So appreciate you, brother.
Much love. Much love.
Word.
See you, man.
I love the feeling that I get when I'm in the presence of, or at least, through technology, even interacting with a person who has so obviously done the work and is walking their talk. That is an expression of integrity right there. Wow. I hope you got a lot of great value out of that. And definitely get the book. I have the manuscript actually right here, and when I said to him at the end of the interview that I'm a better man for than I am now than I was at the beginning of the interview, I meant that. He is a breath of fresh air, and he is walking proof. And it doesn't get any more valid than his joy. And you can just listen to how he's in love with life, and he's freaking crushing it. Right? He's demolishing it. Financially and in every conceivable way. And he is letting service be the leader, right? The selfless service model. So go find his book, ruthlessbook.com, ruthlessbook.com, and treat yourself to that. All right, folks, thanks again for tuning in to Tough Talks. And until next time, great miracles.